What's up, everybody out there in the Frontline universe, and welcome back to another Dark Avenger comic book review episode. This week we're a bit late. We're actually a couple of days late than what we're used to. I wasn't feeling good at the top of the week. We had a lot of books to read, and we had a really busy weekend this past weekend. So all those factors combined, unfortunately, pushed this review a couple of days later than when we like. We like to get our reviews up, as you guys know, on Monday, Tuesday. We're recording this on Wednesday. It'll be up on Thursday morning instead of Wednesday night, which is what we were aiming for. But in these situations, for those of you that haven't watched the episodes when this was on my channel, what we do in situations like this where this week's books are already released and last week's books were last week's books are, we give more of an overview of the books, kind of give our thoughts on the books and stuff like that, and we don't go as in-depth as we would with a normal Dark Avenger comic book review episode. So you'll notice this episode is going to be a bit shorter. We're going to be basically flying through a lot of books. We do have a couple of issue number ones, and we do have a one-shot. Those books, obviously, we want to spend some time on talking about from DC Rebirth. But other than that, we're going to kind of speed through a lot of the books, sharing our opinions, giving you guys like the gist of the book, what happened in it. By now, most of you guys should know what's gone on in those books, and we're already getting ready to discuss this week's books. I've already started reading this week's books, so hopefully for the books that I've read at the beginning of last week, I won't forget. So we're going to start digitally, we're going to do indies, and then we're going to go into the big two. So let's kickstart with me, and it is...
We gotta say what
that's right. The week that these were released were on...
August 10, 2016.
Right.
Now we can start with your book.
Right, and we'll get to August 17th on time. But anyway, Life and Death, Prometheus, this is issue number 2 or 3?
I think it's 3. Yeah, it looks like 3, doesn't it?
It is 3. Issue
Yeah,
number 3. So, Galgo and the others bring the surviving crew members that survived Prometheus's or the engineer's attack back to their place. And they explain what's been going on between Fire and Stone and Life and Death. And then basically what happens from there is they devise a plan to get off the planet. Galgo and the others are so happy because they've been trapped on that planet for so long. They never thought they were going to get out. And then they finally have hope. And then we find out the engineer that landed on that planet woke up another engineer that was on that planet. So now we have 2 engineers. And it's going to be up to Galgo and Abraham, which is the Predator, to distract the 2 engineers so the others can basically set up the beacon and basically escape the planet. I'm really excited to see where the conclusion goes. I've been enjoying Life and Death. If you enjoyed Fire and Stone, if you haven't read Fire and Stone, I would definitely recommend going out and getting the trade paperback. Awesome crossover series. But this series is really good as well. I'm really enjoying it. And I'm actually glad in a way that they're not throwing out all 4 miniseries at once. They're doing it one at a time. It'll last longer. It's a lot more fun, and it's a lot more fluid. It's one miniseries that leads into another miniseries that leads into another miniseries that leads into another one. Because 2 of them, I believe, 2 of the miniseries kind of happened at the same time, and it got a little confusing at times. But still, it didn't take away from Fire and Stone. I love Fire and Stone. Life and Death's great. I hope that they have a trilogy set up where there'll be a 3rd installment to all of this. But anyway, next up we have Vampirella, issue number 6. And this is basically Vampirella. It's a Halloween concert. This guy who is like a bee basically has an obsession with Vampirella, crashes the party, lots of action and crazy stuff happens. She ends up taking him on to a place there's another Halloween party. It was a lot of fun. It was a fun episode. I enjoyed it. I did, at least. But anyway, that was Vampirella. It was a nice little standalone issue.
Alright, so it's my turn. We have...
Oh, really? I read Van Helsing versus Frankenstein issue number 1 as well.
Oh, you did? Alright, well, we'll give our opinions then. So yeah, Van Helsing versus Frankenstein issue number 1 of 5. Now, let me ask you this before I review this.
Uh-huh.
You know how it says Van Helsing versus Frankenstein?
Mm-hmm.
Frankenstein didn't appear at all in this issue. But I think the guy that's...
You're right, exactly on the right track. So, Van Helsing meets up with these new hunters, and they're all kind of friends. It all kind of connects back to Robin Hood's wedding, and she's buddying up with them, and Robin Hood's actually in the beginning of the book for a bit, and they're going after the Mothman.
Not to mention that also Van Helsing is getting a little old with her.
Yeah, and
gray-
she's trying to work on a way to reanimate, which brings in the Frankenstein thing. So she goes on this hunt with these two, this husband and wife.
Yeah, it was
hunting
Franklin
crew.
and
I forgot what her name was.
yeah,
But Franklin,
Janice.
Franklin is who I believe become Frankenstein. Now, Vampirella admits to this girl that she's worked on because the girl knows that Van Helsing is dating Hades, and she kind of questions, he's immortal, you're not. How? And then Van Helsing kind of admits she's been working on a way to kind of preserve herself through reanimation, yada yada.
Mhm.
They go after the Mothman. Bad stuff happens, and it looks like Franklin's. And I think this is where
Where
Frankenstein's
they're gonna
going to
recreate
actually
him and then
yeah,
Frankenstein.
come in.
Yeah.
And I thought this was a great issue, a great opening. I like the artwork. I like where the situation is going. I like Van Helsing and Hades moments as well. Really good book. I would definitely recommend the miniseries.
Okay. All right, and this is Wonderland issue number 50. This is the last issue of Wonderland until the prelude, because there is going to be a prelude to Wonderland one shot that's actually going to come out.
And I will say this also before you get into that. We do have Grim Fairy Tales final issue as well. I'm really excited to be talking about that last issue when it's released.
Yeah, so in Wonderland issue number 50, it's it started off with Cheshire, or Cheshire if I said it right, who goes against the king of Cheshire because he wants to take over Wonderland. So basically, the Cheshire, who was a little cat, actually went against him, and it was like a whole big fight scene. Meanwhile, Violet goes up against the army of Spades, along with the King of Spades, who wants to also take over Wonderland, of him and his army. Meanwhile, while the White Queen tries to find a way of how she can overrule the land. So there was like a whole big fight scene. It was kind of relating to what's been happening in Wonderland when Violet became the Mad Hatter, and then, other stuff as well. So you could kind of tell that it is the last issue. So it was an epic fight scene. He was sent back to hell, and then the White Queen just became Callie herself after the whole explosion of the castle, and that's how it was the end. So really looking forward to the prelude to see how that's going to completely end. But Wonderland had a really great run on stuff. Lots of trade paperbacks too. Definitely check out. Ninjak issue number 18. So in this Ninjak issue, what I noticed that it was kind of more of Ninjak in his old state. That's working with Wrath the Eternal Warrior. I'm thinking of the comic Eternal Warrior. And what they're going up against is, there's this mission that they have to find out. Like, something about what's going on with this island that they're on. And also to meet up with Fritz, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And there's, like, a whole, clone of what's going on. So they want to find out more information about this Fritz character. And then it gets into a whole bunch of other dialogue. So it's kind of like leaving it to like a long and dry part of it. Not saying that was bad. It was like pretty interesting. And then we get to Lost Files where Neville actually, where Ninjak leaves Neville and the MI6 because of this germ that's actually going around, and it affects Ninjak in the end also. So that's a big cliffhanger there.
Alright, we got two physical books that are indie, so let's get those out of the way.
So this one I reviewed on Comic Frontline, and that's Sonic Universe issue number 88. This is the N Knuckles variant. And just to give a sum up of the basics of this book with showing artwork.
I think you reviewed this book for Frontline anyway.
I did.
There you go.
I just said that. So it's really just Amy and Rouge are in a battle with Omega, and meanwhile Knuckles and Shadow met up with this character named Nixus, or Nixus if I said his name right. And Shadow goes to help his teammates while Nixus has a talk with Knuckles, and as the Master Shards thing happened, in disguise was Walter Nugas, who wants to try to put the piece together but fails, so he wants to use Knuckles' mind to actually know how they're put together. So since he's been trapped and all the Master Shards are gone, now their biggest enemy is to go up against Omega, which is on the darker side of, since he is Team Dark, of Shadow and Rouge. This was an interesting issue. Definitely can't wait to see how they're going to get out of this in the next issue. And that's part 2 of Shattered, by the way.
Alright, and the last indie book is my book, and it's Birthright, issue number 18. Brennan is basically a mage. We found out this in the last issue, but now, using his abilities, I want to show you guys some artwork. He takes the Nevermind and puts the Nevermind back inside of Mikey where it belongs. And, well, it doesn't go well at first, but Brennan, being new to his abilities, he tries to basically cure Mikey while leaving the Nevermind inside of him. The grandfather's fighting his friend, the friend wants Mikey. Well, surprise, surprise, Brennan, it seems, was able to save Mikey. Obviously, I think the Nevermind is still inside of him, but he looks more like he's in control of himself again. At least that's what we're led to believe. Fight between him and the grandfather's friend happens, and then we find out the grandfather's friend did not come alone. He came with an army, and Mikey basically reassures his father that he's the chosen one, and they can get through it together. I really like the development with Brennan. I like the artwork in this book. I like that Brennan is like a wizard, while Mikey is the chosen one. Father's kind of left with nothing, and the grandfather is trying to. I feel like the grandfather truly does want to redeem himself, because he did kind of abandon his family, and even when he came back to Earth, he stayed away from them. I really feel like the grandfather knows he screwed up and wants to fix things. Alright, this is getting only an honorable mention, and that's because I believe it's a one-shot, and it kind of relates to
what it was issue number 1.
That's number 1 one-shot, whatever.
Oh, alright.
It's Civil War II, The Accused. As you guys know, Clint went on trial for killing Bruce Banner. If you want a more in-depth look on Clint's side of the story, that's what The Accused is. The Accused gives you a little bit more insight on Clint and the moments, that moment where Bruce was killed. It gives you Clint's side, like with him being in the tree, shooting the arrows. It's a nice addition to Civil War II. Do you absolutely have to get it? No. Does it add to the story? In this case, yes. However, I believe it is a $5 book, if I'm not mistaken.
Well, isn't all number 1 books?
I believe so, but I'm not too sure. But again, for $5, I don't know. And of course, it's Daredevil. It's Matt Murdock trying to prove that Clint's guilty. So it was it was more of the in-courtroom stuff and more of the background with Clint. Now, all new X-Men. This is issue number 12. We are finally away from the Age of Apocalypse BS. This focuses more on X-20. Like, this is the aftermath. X-23, goes off and does a couple of missions that Cyclops leaves for her. And we find out that Angel, being still part of the Black Vortex, inside of him the fire burns that it wants to be released. It wants him to, sort and find justice. So every time Laura would get somewhere, the issue would be resolved already. And we find out at the end of the issue, it's Angel that's kind of resolving all the issues. And Angel's kind of a hypocrite because he's always worried about Laura, and here he is basically throwing his life on the line to basically, what's the word I'm looking for? Satisfy his Black Vortex half. And it's nice because in the end they kind of, Laura finally says, I get you, and he kind of gets Laura as well. So I like that. I really did like that about this book. It was a nice little standalone issue that I think actually might be leading into the next issue as well. All New, All Different Avengers, issue number 13. This focuses on Vision and him being upset about being, screwed in by Kang. So he travels through time to find Kang and basically to erase his existence, and he debates if he's going to put his emotions back, and he decides not to because he needs something that's cold and, logical as opposed to emotions. So he travels through time to find, baby Kang, and he does. And I'm not going to spoil what happens, but you can check out the book. It was an interesting standalone story. The next issue focuses more on the new Wasp. And this is all apparently connected to um, Civil War II, which this issue I don't understand. The other issues kind of make sense a little bit more.
Alright, so now it's my turn. Darth Vader issue number 24. There's only one more.
Give me a second, I'm going to actually go check something. You keep talking.
There's one more issue left until we conclude the Darth Vader comic series. And to be honest, actually, this wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. Because when I was looking, I'm like saying, oh dear, how's this issue going to be? But basically, from what we saw in the last issue, Silo now has control of Darth Vader with the little remote control that he had. It was actually a short read. Like, I got through this in like under 10 minutes. It's like basically, of course, we all know that Darth Vader was going to snap out of it and he was going to kill Silo, which he did. And now his Silo's apprentice, I think, is out there. I can't remember what his name was. That's probably going to go after him, which is probably going to be in the next issue. And then that's it. And also Dr. Aphra came in.
Oh,
and I'm really getting tired of seeing her character because it's getting a little bit annoying, but
I think the world is tired of her, dude.
I don't know. It was like I said, a 1, 2, 3 appearance from her as well as the read. So I'll be definitely looking in the last issue since I've been reading all along, and I'll definitely be checking it out. And last digital book for me of Marvel, Spider-Man Deadpool, issue number 8. Now this actually was a really fun read, and I'm going to tell you why actually once I finish showing this cover. So we all know that Deadpool has this agenda to kill Spider-Man, or Peter Parker really, because of what's been going on. So Peter Parker actually comes up with an idea of changing his costume more like a not like a symbiote costume, like it's like it a little bit, and he's like pretending to be like a ghost of like Spider-Man or something, and then he goes to Deadpool trying to mess with his mind and everything, like saying you cannot kill Parker and all this other stuff. Oh, like I really want to give more about this issue, but I don't want to go too far into it because I don't want to ruin the book, because it's like, even though it's a week already. But I really enjoyed this book. It was a fun read, and definitely something to check out. I don't know if this is going to change Deadpool's point of view, whether to kill Peter Parker or not, but we'll find out. But this was a fun issue, definitely.
And ironically, the only 2 books I have from Marvel this week are Spider books. We got Spider-Man 2099 issue number 13, which does connect to Civil War II because Ulysses is in it. Apparently, Ulysses has a vision about Captain America 2099 because Miguel sends her back through the vortex to 2099 to deal with the Sinister Six and to figure out what's going on in 2099. Also, in the present, that's where Pete kind of goes to. I'm using some artwork. He goes to Miguel and says, did you open the portal? And he says, yes. He says, well, Ulysses basically had a vision. Does this mean anything to you? Which is basically the cover, so it's no spoiler. And Miguel basically decides he's going to go back to 2099 and deal with the situation before something bad happens to Cap. And unfortunately, he gets captured by what looks to be the Punisher. To be continued. Really good issue. I enjoyed it. Again, though, it's a connection to Civil War, so I think it's going to take its own, it's going to take on its own story now.
Now, is this the Punisher 2099 version?
Yes.
Yeah, because I didn't see the skull.
Now, Amazing Spider-Man issue 16, however, does not follow Civil War at all. This takes place after. It's basically a prequel to Dead No More. The Jackal, or this guy who's claiming to be the Jackal, because it doesn't look like the Jackal to me, basically a doctor offers to help with Jay, who is really super sick and dying. She mentioned somewhat of cloning and stuff like that in a way to basically help Jay. Of course, JJJ thinks it's all Pete's fault because he has the father going around all over the world, and that's not the case at all. Pete actually takes the doctor's research because he wants to see it for himself, And he's kind of astonished by it because it involves cloning, and obviously this doctor works for the Jackal, so it kind of promotes cloning. And the Jackal is actually trying to help Electro at this exact same moment as well get his abilities back through cloning his abilities to put back inside of him. And he actually brings back Electro's girlfriend or friend who he accidentally killed. There's an explosion at Parker Industries. Pete goes in as Spider-Man to save the day. One of his co-workers ends up, on the dying, basically dying from chemical poisoning. Pete reaches out to the doctor again in hopes that she can get him, like, the heart and lungs that this guy needs. She's able to, however, Pete kind of has his spider sense going off, so obviously there's something up with the Jackal's cloned appendages, so to speak. And then it turns out JJJ kind of caves and goes to the doctor, and I'm not going to give you guys the last page, not yet. We'll talk about that next week, but I'm sure everybody on Frontline Live already discussed it. But let's just say somebody in JJJ's past who passed away ends up coming back. It's an interesting prequel to Dead No More. I enjoyed it. So we're going into Flintstones, issue number 2. Got it physically, guys. I know you guys saw the haul already. And you guys, I mentioned that we were going to be getting this probably physically. So basically, crap has hit Bedrock. And so has apparently the news. So we get to see the beginning of newscasts in Bedrock. And the fad about crap. That's what they're calling it. C-R-A-P. And we get to see Pebbles for the first time. And basically, crap is stuff that people really don't need, but Wilma and everybody else ends up wanting to buy it. We also get some funny stuff with Church, where they keep changing their idols. Like, this is a god, that's a god, and they find one of them. Finally, they get to the part where one of the gods is a pink elephant. It turns out that's a vacuum cleaner, and that's where everybody kind of gets pissed off. And then Fred needs more money to continue to help, because Wilma continues to want to buy crap, and Fred wants to be able to provide, so he goes off doing like door-to-door sales stuff. He fails, but Barney does really, really well because of Bam Bam. He kind of uses Bam Bam as a way of, what was the word I'm looking for? Advertising the vitamins. And Fred kind of comes clean in the end, and we also get to see the beginning of the Invisible God, so to speak. But Fred comes clean to Wilma about, trying to have more money for crap. She's like, you know what? I don't need stuff. It's about being with the people we care about. We should just return everything. So Fred basically does return everything. And, all throughout this issue, I said the one thing that's missing, and I couldn't understand, we got Pebbles, we got Bam Bam, we got Fred, we got Wilma, we got, everybody. And Barney. But we are missing Dino. Where's Dino? Because everybody knows Dino's like the staple. And what happens is Fred returns everything, and one of the things, which is the dishwasher, he's only allowed in-store credit. And what happens is Fred's like, fine, I'll get something. What about that? And then, I was going to recycle it. He does nothing. And Fred remembers what Wilma says, that it's all about family and about love. And he's like, you know what? Perfect. I'll take it. It's Dino. He buys Dino at the end of this issue, and I'm like, oh shit, that's awesome. So we got to see the beginning of crap. We got to see the beginning of the first ever broadcast in Bedrock, and then we get to see Fred adopting Dino at the end of the issue. That was so good. I liked it. I enjoyed that a lot. I really appreciate Flintstones issue number 2 a lot. Really liked it, and I'm really glad that we caved and we decided to get this and Future Quest physically, because these are books that deserve to have a physical form on these reviews. Really good. I am really enjoying Flintstones. I'm actually surprised I'm enjoying it a lot more than I thought I would be. I thought I'd be liking it, but I'm really, truly enjoying it a lot. We're moving into Rebirth now. Everything's out of order, as I told you guys, and we're going to be going through this as we go. The Flash issue number 4. Flash wants to find Godspeed now. August, thank God, is on the mend. And we find out about, Flash finds out about the members through Iris. He finds out that one of the doctors that was working at Star Labs got Black Hole together, and he stole samples of the Speed Force. And she thinks he could be Godspeed, and so does Flash. Obviously, he's not Godspeed.
Oh.
Flash confronts him. He ends up forcing the Speed Force into himself, which is a bad thing because he loses control, and it's up to Flash. I forgot who the other doctor is. August heals up, so he's back, and he brings two of the students to help the Flash. They end up saving the day, and it turns out that we get one page with Wally, which at this point it's like, why are you even bothering at this point? I'm really not digging this other Wally. We got the original Wally back. I could give two craps about New 52 Wally, but apparently they've got to continue that. We find out the Doctor has the hots for Flash, and Flash kind of reveals himself to the Doctor, which is very, very interesting. And I just hope DC's not going the route of let's have all of our superheroes reveal themselves. Well, he's only doing it to the girl. He only does it for the girl. Maybe it's a potential relationship that might happen for a time. I don't know.
No, I was about to say, doesn't the Flash really not tell anyone his secret identity?
I was hoping that him and Iris would be on the mend, but apparently they're doing this right now. Hal Jordan and the Green Lantern Corps issue number 2. Hal Jordan's fighting the Yellow Lanterns. The Green Lantern Corps is back, but now they are beaten, to literally 300 out of 7,000. I forgot how many. 399 left out of 7,200 Green Lanterns that came back from Oblivion, basically. And Guy wants to take things slow. He wants to figure out. He sends John Stewart wants to take things slow. He sends Guy Gardner out, kind of to see what's going on in the universe, and to kind of get an idea of what's been going on since they've been gone. You've got Hal Jordan fighting the Sinestro Corps. Sinestro finds out that Hal Jordan has returned as a Green Lantern, and we find out that basically Sinestro was playing the universe all along, that basically what he's wanted since the beginning has finally come to fruition, and it's all Soranic's fault. Soranic kind of believed that Sinestro wanted to change. It wasn't true. And as a matter of fact, Sinestro is as evil as he's always been. So everything that's happened in the New 52 and everything that's happened previously before the New 52, that was all an act just to get the Sinestro Corps in and to basically rule the galaxies through fear. So now it's going to be up to Hal Jordan to to jump back into the Green Lantern Corps, as a matter of fact, to jump in and stop Sinestro once again. So we might get another Sinestro Corps war without it being called the Sinestro Corps War. And I'm really enjoying Hal Jordan and the Green Lantern Corps. I believe in 2 weeks we get the next issue. I'm really excited to get my hands on that because the Corps is back. Guy's going out into the universe to figure out what's going on. You know that Guy Gardner is going to end up helping Hal, and we all know that in Edge of Oblivion, or Green Lantern Corps Oblivion, John Stewart could have sworn he saw Hal Jordan closing the Source Wall, which obviously didn't really happen, but it's going to be interesting to see that meeting again. New Superman issue number 2, we get introduced to the Batman and Wonder Woman of China, and I really cannot stand Dr. Omen, or Doc Omen. She's really annoying. I don't like her whatsoever. But we find out that Keenan is still developing his Superman abilities, that they kind of went dormant after that little scurry. She puts these this visor on him to prevent him from accidentally using his heat vision if it happens to come back. She sends him on a mission with Batman and Wonder Woman of China. His powers end up manifesting again, and he ends up using them to help save this little girl's mother. The press shows up, and stupid kid that he is, he rips off the visor so he's no longer under their control and basically outs himself. He says, "Hi, I'm Kong Keenan. I'm the new Superman." And basically you could see the disapproval from Batman and Wonder Woman of China. So he basically gave away his secret identity and admitted to being Superman.
Another one?
Well, no, this book is kind of more its own generic kind of deal.
Yeah, but this is like a worldwide thing, that he did.
Yeah. That. Good artwork, interesting story, that's for sure. I'm definitely looking forward to the next issue.
Yeah, I mean, that was something.
I felt like it was a little bit of a quick read, and I feel like they kind of disposed of him a bit quick. I can't wait to get to the point where Superman, which is weird because Doc Omen ended up getting arrested and Superman went off on his own. This kind of goes off into its own thing. So I guess this is the first story arc is a prequel before Dr. Omen got arrested. Must be. Wonder Woman issue number 4. We're back in the year 1 Wonder Woman story arc. Remember, the next issue we go back to the present. But anyway, this issue, Steve Trevor is the only survivor of his airplane. The Amazons end up healing him, and they figure out that that this is a sign that one of their own needs to leave Themyscira and represent the Amazons in the world of man. And unfortunately, whichever Amazon that leaves the island won't be able to come back. There's a competition. Turns out that Diana ends up competing in the competition, winning the competition, and basically becoming Wonder Woman. And she brings Steve back to the world of man, and she is going to represent Themyscira and the Amazons. And she promises the mom that one day she'll return, regardless of what the rules are. And we'll see if that does happen. I'm really enjoying the what's the word I'm looking for? The retelling of the year 1 of Wonder Woman. We also get to see her get her golden lasso in this issue. I really dug this issue a lot. I'm really enjoying the year 1 stuff most of all because it's basically they're retelling Wonder Woman's origin the right way. So we're kind of moving away from the whole gods and Zeus and other BS that they kind of threw in during the Ed Brubaker, run on Wonder Woman. All right, Batman Detective Comics 938. Batwoman and the crew, and Batman versus the colony. Batman's got all of the info he needs. We get a little backstory on how Batwoman's dad was given the mission of basically creating and running the colony. Huge action scene breaks out with Batman and the others, fighting against the colony to escape. I loved the Red Robin scene where he was with that boy genius who's, I forgot what his name was. His name was ironically his name is Ulysses.
Really?
Yeah, Ulysses had Hadrian Armstrong.
Wow.
And obviously he's a fanboy, but obviously he works for the colony. He escapes, but Robin ends up getting saved by Spoiler, and they all end up escaping together. There's some really great action and stuff going on in this. But now that Batman knows, he's obviously going to rat out the colony to the world, and they end up escaping. I'm not going to spoil how, but now the colony, their mission was to destroy the League of Shadows sleeper agents. And what happens is Batman knows that it's fake, it's not true, and now Batwoman's father wants to get at least that job done before the colony is basically outed and disbanded. And he makes a rash decision by the end of this issue, and it's going to be up to Batman and the others to stop the father. And it's going to be really, really interesting to see how that's done. I'm really loving Batman Detective Comics. I can't express this to you guys enough. Now, I was supposed to do this as a review. Unfortunately, I didn't get the chance to this past week. I did read it. Superman Action Comics, issue number 961. Superman continuing to fight Doomsday. Wonder Woman. He's asking Wonder Woman to protect his family. As a matter of fact, Wonder Woman takes the family to the Justice League satellite. We get to see some awesome... We're frozen there. Now we're back.
Oh.
I apologize, guys. I don't know what's going on with this camera. Every now and again it freezes up. I don't know if it's the program or the camera itself. But anyway... so we get to see some awesome fighting in this issue again of Superman fighting Doomsday. We get to see Lois and John in the, like I said, the Justice League satellite. It's fine. It only does it once. We really should do like a pre-recording or something for a while just to get that out. Because now if we were to do another recording, it wouldn't happen again. So then we find out that Oz sends his soldiers to go capture Doomsday, and they end up fighting Doomsday and trying to push him towards the gate as this issue ends. And Superman's kind of like, I don't know who these people are, but there's something bigger going on here. So Oz has been watching Superman, and we actually will see Oz again in another book, which we'll get into in a moment. But yeah, Oz is watching everything really, really closely, and it's really interesting where this book's going. Can't wait to see how everything ends up with with Doomsday and in Action Comics. I'm really loving Action Comics. Love the artwork. I'm loving this fight with Doomsday, and it's going to be really exciting to see what happens after this Doomsday fight as Action Comics moves forward. Those are all the books that have been released already. We're going into one Rebirth one shot, and we have 3 issue number 1. So Michael actually took this book over. I decided to step down from this title. So Michael stepped in because it's something that you've read through Marvel in a way.
In DC, you mean?
No, you've read Deadpool in Marvel, and this book is kind of connected. Like
Rebirth, Deathstroke, which is
the one shot.
Yeah. So basically, for those of you who don't know, Deathstroke, basically his real name is Slade, and he does missions.
He's a merc for money.
Yeah, and then he only does the killing if you pay him and all this other stuff. And I think he worked with Suicide Squad for a time, didn't he?
No.
I thought he did.
Deadshot.
Oh, it's Deadshot. Oh, my mistake. I probably got that wrong. So we get a little bit about, Slade's...
Yeah, it's Deathstroke.
Yeah.
I want to see the cover a minute.
Yeah, so we get a little bit about Slade's character. Meanwhile, he works with Matthew about a certain mission that they're going on, and I'll show some artwork. They have their Hosen, who is kind of like how Henry Piff is the sidekick of Green Arrow. She is basically the sidekick of Deathstroke and Matthew. So we get into a little prologue about, how he met up with these 2 African Americans, because this is taking place in Africa. And he says that, that he wants to, get paid because he had, sons also. He goes up and meets up with a time traveler who is on his deathbed. And he just gave word to the families of his victims that he had the cash to hire him. In other words, to try and kill him. And there's this word here called Kenilworth as well. And also Wintergreen makes an appearance in this, and I'll tell you why I make that reference. So they get into Camp Al-Lungna, saying that they have a gift of Deathstroke's mask, claiming that they killed him, meanwhile he's attacking all the army. And then Wintergreen, he meets up in a cave, and he's like saying, well, it's about time you showed up. So basically, he's just saving him from the camp.
It's a mission.
And everything.
It's just basically a mission that Deathstroke was
on.
on.
But in order for him to do this mission, he would have to get paid, and that's how he'll do the mission.
Alright, now you've got issue number 1 for
Red Hood and the Outlaws, issue number 1. Now, really, I thought that the cover was gonna be how he met with these 2 characters you see on the cover. And apparently,
either one.
Well, he meets up with one of them, but slowly but surely they're, I like how they're doing Jason Todd when he was in this orphanage place, or what was it, like, not an orphan, it looked like an orphanage place, where there was this old lady there, and Jason Todd actually saves her. Well, they call her Ma as her name. So she's talking about, how, she met up with, what's his name? Black Mask, and made a proposition that that he shouldn't refuse, and then you could definitely read the book to find out what it was.
So the first mission is going to be about Red Hood going after Black Mask.
Right, but he wants to know, like, if he should kill Black Mask or not. Because remember, Batman doesn't believe in killing, and he's trying to show him ways of not doing that. I really like the artwork though. The artwork is drawn really nicely, and just Jason Todd's doing more of research about Black Mask and where they could find him, and he shows a little bit about Gotham City, and they want to try to Black Mask tries to show him that they have their ways of bringing people to justice, which isn't what Jason Todd really sees as that, but he kind of gets a little bit like them. And then he meets up with Artemis, who is
one of the
three who joins Red Hood. And next issue is Red Hood versus Artemis. So nothing about Bazaar yet until probably in the next issue or two. So I guess it's a slowly but surely build up of how the team will get together. But it was a good issue.
It looks interesting.
Yeah, I'm going to see how the next issue goes with Red Hood against Artemis, because that should be a real huge fight.
So this is the only book out of DC Rebirth that is not $2.99. Is actually $5, I believe.
Yeah, it's up there.
Thank you. $4.99. And that is All-Star Batman, which is the team of Scott Snyder and John Romita Jr. And I've got to say, I did not like John Romita Jr.'s art on Superman. However, I will say this though, the cover, I don't know if it'll show on camera, but the cover is kind of a
like something in the background?
A thicker cover. It's not like one of those cheap ones. It's kind of like a more sturdier cover for All-Star Batman. I can live with the artwork here with John Romita Jr. and Batman. So Batman is taking Two-Face somewhere. We don't know where, but basically Harvey Dent still has control over himself at times, but Two-Face is slowly burrowing his way into Harvey Dent's mind. So basically Two-Face has two personalities, the good Harvey Dent and Two-Face, the evil, crooked, person who uses all of Harvey Dent's knowledge to basically up crime in Gotham. So Batman and Harvey Dent had a plan with Two-Face, or how to cure Harvey Dent to push Two-Face out completely. And Batman has to go to this place, and it's about 700 and somewhat miles away. But Two-Face, knowing what Batman was going to do, sends out a bounty or a reward, so to speak, to stop Batman and to help, free Two-Face. And unfortunately, a lot of people go crooked because of that. Cops, supervillains, and also Harvey Dent threatens to out, secrets that he has on certain supervillains. And we find out that his influence goes beyond just law enforcement and, normal people. It even travels into Batman's own home. I won't spoil what, but Batman's determined to get Two-Face to this place. He actually goes off radar, and it turns out there is another supervillain kind of connected that I guess will be in the next issue. But Two-Face is determined to not have Batman make it to his location. He's traveled 1 mile in this issue with only 497 other miles to go.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's a backstory with Duke and him coming into his role as the new Batman, not sidekick. Every time they mention sidekick or what Batman is doing, he says, I'm trying something new, something better. And that's all we get. And so basically it's two stories in one. Is it worth $5 though? I don't know yet. I can't tell you guys, honestly, go out and buy this book for $5. And I can't tell you not to. If you're a Batman fan, obviously you're going to want to read this book. But for a first issue, as much as I'm interested in seeing where Two-Face is going, where the story with Two-Face is going, not sure if I can tell you guys it's worth the $5. If you buy your books the way Mike and I do, where it's in a bundle, go for it. Get the bundle, grab the book. That's how we got All-Star Batman. But if you're going to go into a comic book shop today and have to pay $5 for this book, I would say look into it a little bit before making the decision to buy it or not. I'm enjoying this book. The first issue was interesting. I have to see more before I can say if it's worth the $5. And this book is remaining at $5 every month, but it's only once a month. It's not a twice a month book. And if you look at, and everybody will agree, if you look at all the double up books, you're paying $6 a month for 2 books. This is basically 2 books in one, and it's once a month. So instead of paying $2.99 times 2, you're paying $4.99 times 1. Pick your poison, so to speak. If you're not a fan of John Romita Jr.'s artwork, again, it's up to you. Now, Superwoman issue number 1. We get the backstory here. We find out that not only does Lois Lane, New 52 Lois Lane, have Superman's abilities because she was next to Superman when he died, but apparently Lana also gained Superman's abilities. And what's ironic, is, and Ozymandias is watching on, you get to see Oz, you get to see his eyes in this issue a bit. But it's interesting because Lois is regular Superman costume, or she's Superwoman, but basically she got all of Superman's abilities as Superman, but Lana kind of got a different power set. She kind of has more of like she can manipulate energy like electricity. So Lana and Lois are the regular Superman and electric Superman.
So is it like the red and blue Superman thing?
Well, no. Lois has all of the original powers, the main.
Yeah, I'm talking
Superman
about Lana.
powers.
This one.
Lana has the electric powers, and this is interesting because remember, Rebirth is bringing back the history of certain characters, and obviously this Superman doesn't belong to this world, but he did go through that electric series, and it's kind of interesting that Lois and Lana play have two. It's hard for me to explain, but like Lana is the electric Superman or woman right now in the DC Rebirth universe, and it's interesting that all of these things are connecting. And I like how Oz is watching on, and he's like, so there are 2 of them, 2 Superwomen, and I just find it really interesting that they brought in the electric Superman history, but through Lana. Like, Lana's the electric Superwoman. And basically, Lana's working for the Daily Star. Lois is playing Superwoman, keeping an eye on Metropolis and everything. And what happens is, something attacks Lex's big fortress-like ship. Because after Doomsday, he felt the need that Superman can't be everywhere at once, so he needs his own little command center. And Lana's not buying a damn piece of it. But anyway, something happens. Lois goes into Superwoman mode. Lana goes into her version of Superwoman mode. And they end up saving the ship from crashing into the bridge. We get a lot of flashbacks, by the way. We find out that Lana in the New 52 is the one that trained Clark how to control his abilities in the New 52. Not the original Superman, the New 52. So Lana, Lois, knowing that Lana was the one that trained Superman, Lois wants Lana to train her to use her abilities. And also she knows that Lana also has superhero abilities, so they should be like a team. So they go into the ship and they go and observe. They try to find out who or what attacked the ship. They find out who or what attacked the ship. And let's just say, I don't know if Lois is going to be around anymore after this issue, but I don't think we're going to lose Lois after issue number 1. That's all I'm going to say there. Really interesting stuff, and we might actually be seeing Super Bizarro Woman in the next issue. Really enjoyed this first issue. I left out a lot of stuff on purpose because I want you guys to check this out. I really find this very interesting that they actually added in the electric history through Lana. I like that Lana is the electric Superman, or Superwoman of the universe right now, which kind of taps into the electric Superman that we got back in the late 1990s. And it's really interesting. It's really interesting that they found a way to adapt those powers into Superwoman. I'm really looking forward to Superwoman issue number 2. I'm digging it. I'm really liking everything on Superman's side right now is doing really well. And same thing with the Bat family. The Batman family books are doing really well also. Really enjoyed this week. Great issue number 1. I would definitely highly recommend checking out Superwoman. I would definitely recommend giving a look into All-Star Batman and all the other books that we talked about here. So, guys, I know we're a little late, but in the comments below, feel free to let us know what you thought about the books that came out 2 weeks ago. I know, Pete, I'm waiting for your reply. I know you're going to list your tops Peter Barker. He always tells me what
Oh,
he read.
okay. I thought you meant
and
the other
puts him in his
piece
top.
from.
No.
Okay.
I'm looking forward to that. Honestly, we're gonna get this review up as soon as possible. So the intro might not be on this, and I forgot to put the intro on last week's video. The intro will be back starting next week when we're back on time. So apologies again that we won't have the intro for this, or that we didn't have it for last week's Dark Avenger comic book review. It will be back starting with this Wednesday's books next week. So thank you guys so much for sticking with us. Like I said, feel free to comment below your thoughts on any of the books we talked about here. Agree, disagree, likes, dislikes, anything you'd like to add about books that you read that we didn't talk about here. We'd love to hear from you guys in the comments below. And as always, guys, we are Comic Frontline. We are your #1 source for comic-related news, reviews, and a whole bunch more. Hopefully you subscribe to the YouTube channel. This way we're in your sub box and you do not miss out on a single video. We have at least one video a day on Comic Frontline, and hopefully you'll go over to comicfrontline.com as well. Articles going up daily as well, and you can enjoy some more Frontline goodness. Till next time, everybody, take care, keep reading, keep collecting. We'll see you guys really soon in the next video.
Later, everybody.